Basky. Welcome to the Talent Basketball and Hockey Podcast. I am your host, Adam Hess, and with me this week, he's currently grossing $5 million on a Wednesday. It's Tyler Carcara. Tyler, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm finally over my obsession panic attack, and I'm here for my Wemby panic attack, thinking about how this is the world we live in for the next 15 years of the NBA. It's our NBA lives.
Down 1-0, and as we all know, in a sport of overreacting to every result, I think Wemby's cooked. I think this is it.
Yeah, I think it's over,
They
actually.
found the way to beat him, you know? Are we worried that Wemby will never be the GOAT now because he's going to lose these finals and he won't be able to go 6-0 like Jordan?
That's true. Here's the problem: is Jordan went 6-0. If Jordan went like, his legacy would be less if he went like 6 for 9. You know what I mean?
Or even like 6-1. Like if he had lost one.
People will be like, oh, well, Jordan lost one. But the fact that, no one ever people are like, oh, no one ever beat him. I'm like, people beat him in the playoffs all the time. He just didn't make it to the final. Just not in the finals, so you don't remember it.
And as we all know, the playoffs don't matter, because if we say the playoffs matter, that means we have to call the Cleveland Cavaliers a good basketball team.
The fourth best team in the league.
Yeah. But Tyler, as you alluded to there, we are here to talk about the NBA Finals. Game 1 a couple of nights ago, a barn burner Jalen Brunson performance that we will get into here shortly, or I should say a barn burner Jalen Brunson final 2 minutes. We also need to talk about Game 2, which is tonight. Tonight, are you going to be able to watch it at home, or are you going to be watching it over a bartender's shoulder on the phone?
I will be the bartender tonight, so I'll be watching it on my phone during West Hollywood Pride. So
yeah, I had to go down into the Chicago Loop today to go beat up the Hollis family, and while I was there, I saw all the pride flags for the first time, and I was like, have those always been there? Because I forgot that it's June. And so I went over the river
I work
past
in
all the
West
flags.
Hollywood,
And I was
so
like,
I
don't
can't
remember
forget
all these pride flags.
I think I've mentioned this on the pod before, but I work 2 blocks from the Pink Pony Club. It's the bar's actually called the Abbey in LA, but you know, like the Chaperone song.
Nope.
You don't know the Chaperone song? Come on, that was everywhere. That was
Nope.
a song that was very popular.
Dude, I like
crazy,
Chaperone. Yeah. I like what I've heard from Chaperone. If I knew a Chaperone song, I'd admit it. I have not heard this song.
It's the best song. It's her best song.
All right.
Fucking fire up Pink Pony Club after we're done with this. It's her best song. But anyway, I work right down this, like they block off the street, Santa Monica Boulevard, and then they do like a concert in the park in West Hollywood. And that's today and tomorrow. So I got to leave like 30 minutes early for work to go all the way around.
Yeah, I
Great
have
stuff.
a distinct memory of them where I was dating someone who lived, for those of you who are familiar with Chicago, they lived in like the south of Lakeview on Broadway, just outside of Boys Town.
Yeah.
I remember when I was dating them, I took the train over to their place, and I got off on the Belmont stop. I was walking down Belmont, and suddenly the traffic started to get really thick. And I happened upon a street where the entire Pride Parade was going through Boys Town and through Lakeview, and I assume all the way down to like, what, 33rd? They probably wouldn't go south of that, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I wouldn't know.
Starts getting into little Dirk territory if you go any further south than 33rd. But
yeah.
And I was trapped on one side of Broadway for about an hour and 15 minutes with 9,000 half-dressed 18-year-olds who just came out of the closet.
Hey, and you know what? Good for them. They deserve it.
Good for them. Doesn't mean I was any less pissed off about the fact that I couldn't cross the road.
Hey, man, I have, you know what? The least I could do to be an ally is not complain about having an extra 30-minute commute for 3 days. You know,
I will loudly complain. They have the right to get married now. I get to complain. That's how that works. Should we become the anti-Pride podcast? Do you think that would do good for our numbers?
Yeah, I will. It actually, unfortunately, I think
it would do real good. Yeah, I think we should become anti-Pride and pro-AI. I think that could really. That could really
boost our numbers in like a major way. Yeah,
I can't wait.
I've thought about that. Like, what is the? I've always thought about that. Like, what is my line where I would just sell out and forsake everything I hold dear and just be pro AI, manosphere.
Yeah.
Just talking about how Disclosure Day is woke and is woke propaganda or whatever.
Is Disclosure Day supposed to be woke propaganda, or is that one you just pulled out?
It's just the movie I bought tickets for this morning.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Obsession is woke propaganda. It's about soy boy beta cucks. It is about soy boy beta cucks.
It is very much about soy boy beta cucks, but not in a positive way, unfortunately. And for me, a soy boy beta cuck, I'm really looking for a movie that makes me look good.
You know what's funny about that movie, and then we'll talk about the finals, is something I was listening to an interview with Curry Barker, and then I was listening to just this podcast's review of it. And someone mentioned that the lead actor, Michael Johnston, is gay, and that it almost feels like he's doing a parody of a straight guy, which is pretty funny to me. And it makes a lot of sense. Like, after I heard that, I was like, oh, that whole performance clicks even deeper for me.
Yeah.
For sure.
Recharacterizes the sex scene in that movie, too.
Sure does.
It's crazy that they had a sex scene in a movie and Gen Alpha's still seeing it, you know?
But it's played as bad. They're like, this is evil. It's like it's like the horror movie bass sting hits when he's having sex with her. Yeah.
That's true. Haunting that movie. Go see it. Go see it in theaters.
Yeah. The farther away from it I get, the more I like it, because I only remember the filmmaking and not the sort of visceral feeling I had in the theater.
Yeah. The most uncomfortable I felt during a movie since Hereditary. Or since watching X-Men 2 with my mom at home on VHS.
Because Weapons is probably the last great horror movie I saw in theaters.
I got Weapons thoughts.
But that didn't. Yeah, that didn't upset me in a way. I was like, and don't get me wrong, I was laughing throughout Obsession.
Weapons pulls its punches, but this is not the podcast for that. Weapons like gets on the precipice of putting its foot on your throat and then refuses to.
You know who else is pulling their punches?
The San Antonio Spurs.
Julian Champagny. Julian Champagny. You know, why'd he stop taking threes in the second half?
Yeah. What's up with that, Champagny?
Yeah.
Hey, can I ask you this? So let's start here. If you've been living under a rock that costs $10,000 because it's anywhere near Madison Square Garden, and didn't see what happened in Game 1, the Knicks come back from a 14-point deficit to win 105-95 over the San Antonio Spurs, taking a 1-0 lead in the NBA Finals over a team that was favored in the San Antonio Spurs. At this point, why is Dylan Harper still coming off the bench?
I feel similarly.
Like, Keldon Johnson won 6th Man of the Year. He played 8 minutes in this game. Dylan Harper, 28 minutes, the 5th most minutes on the team. Why is Dylan Harper playing less minutes than De'Aaron Fox?
I mean, that's the funny thing about the finals is by the time you get to the finals, you got to throw out like, oh, well, Fox is the veteran. He's the highest paid player on the team. We have to have him in there. Like, put Dylan Harper in the game, man. Like, I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were like, boy, the Spurs team's really good, but it feels like they're missing like a Chris Paul type. And I was like, or a 5 years from now, Dylan Harper.
Yeah.
And what it seems like they're actually missing is 10 more minutes of right now Dylan Harper, in my mind.
If Dylan Harper played 38 and De'Aaron Fox played 28 in Game 1, it was a 10-point game. I'm not saying for sure the Spurs win, but I think it's less than a 10-point game at the very least. And even if it's a 9-point game, at that point, it's the correct decision. You know who couldn't guard Jalen Brunson? De'Aaron Fox.
No, absolutely not. He could not. And they can't take Castle off of Anunoby. Like, what are you going to... You get like
who else could guard him? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wimby, I guess.
It's like, you could throw Castle at Brunson, but then Brunson's going to throw the ball, and suddenly I do not like Anunoby versus De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox isn't a bad defender, but he's definitely the person to pick on.
Yeah.
You know? Interesting for sure.
I can't believe how close also, just looking at the stat line real quick, we got to a Luke Cornett 10 trillion, but he had 1 rebound and... Yeah, he had 1 rebound. If he didn't have the 1 rebound, he would have played 10 minutes and had no impact on the game.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's stick with the Spurs. Let's break down kind of some of the stuff that happened in Game 1 from the Spurs side of things. First off, Victor Wembanyama could not play basketball for the first half and then came alive.
He had that big... He hit a 3 to start the game and then did nothing for 24 minutes.
What if you're a Spurs fan? First off, way to be born with a silver spoon in your mouth. But if you are a Spurs fan, what's your take?
Well, they have to live in San Antonio. No offense.
Hey, they get to see.
Is that the city that Charles Barkley made fun of, or is it Memphis? I can't remember.
He made fun of.
He's
well,
like,
everyone
you
made fun of Memphis
the
this year.
women in San
LeBron
Antonio.
made fun of Memphis.
Well, I know everyone made fun of Memphis this year. Maybe that's why I'm getting it confused. But there's a famous Charles Barkley quote. Charles Barkley on Inside the NBA was joking that was they got them big ol' women down in San Antonio. That's so fucked up, man.
He also has made a recurring joke about churros. Victoria is definitely a secret, and bloomers while talking about San Antonio women.
This was like the 2014 finals that this happened.
Yeah, I'm seeing the graphic for the YouTube video for it, and it looks 2014 as hell. Although you can tell me that's the 99 finals. Jesus Christ.
Tim Duncan's girlfriend wore a T-shirt that said "Barkley doesn't know." So,
you know what's weird? I can't imagine Tim Duncan dating someone. Like,
Barkley had this to say on air, and then we have to keep talking about basketball.
We're kind of talking about
if
basketball.
If you don't like me or the show, turn it off, and they want me to apologize. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. You all can write letters to your mama, your daddy, your uncle. I'm going to have fun on television. You know that I'm joking around, but if y'all want me to apologize, hell gonna freeze over. Oh no. Anyway,
so if you're a San Antonio fan, with your big old women in your life,
oh, we can't do it again.
Are you worried about Wemby?
No.
Has he just run out of gas? I mean, this is the most games he's played in his entire life in a year, by far.
Well, am I worried about Wemby for the rest of the series? Sure. Am I worried about Wemby long term? No. You know, does that track?
How many years would you bet on Wembanyama playing in the NBA? He's in year 3, but he's really only played 2 years. How many years?
Let me pitch you this: how many good years does he have before he has like? I'm picturing more like a 5-year Embiid stretch where like maybe if Wemby's healthy this year, he's 32, but like he played the last 10 games of the season. You know,
I mean, like right now, like we're entering into the superhero Wemby era, and even now, like you can see some cracks that haven't been solved yet. Like he overcommitted to playing perimeter defense against Karl-Anthony Towns, and Karl-Anthony Towns would beat him off the dribble. He helped protected against Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson would just pass it to someone who's in the dunker zone. So like there's still some places for him to make up, but like will he ever be like apex brain for the game Wemby and apex body for the game Wemby at the same time, which is kind of what you need to be the GOAT.
Yeah. I mean, that's the Jordan thing, right? Is like he peaked. The final, the last dance year was the first year his body started to decline a little bit.
Yeah.
You know?
So he had 6 years in a row where he was 7 years in a row where he was.
It was really more like 7, yeah.
Yeah, both physically the best player on the earth and had the best brain for it in the NBA.
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't think Wemby's brain is that far off. That's kind of the funny thing about him.
I think on the defensive side for sure. I think on the offensive side, I got some questions. Like in this game, he went 6 for 21, but he took 9 3-pointers. Like I get that Mitchell Robinson is scary and all that, but when you guys were crushing OKC, Stephon Castle was just throwing you lob after lob after lob after lob. And unless you're going to be a dead eye.
What is Wemby's spot?
That's the thing. Like he doesn't really have one on offense, does he?
He can do everything.
He can do everything.
But when you're like picture Wemby on offense, you're either picturing like crazy putbacks or him stepping into a 28-foot three, or him like, you know what I mean? Like what is? It's not like Embiid or whoever. I'm trying to think of good offense.
Kevin Durant.
Like, Jokic is the wrong comparison because Wemby isn't as good a passer as Jokic.
But it's Durant, because 7-footer who's a jump shooter.
Right, but he ends up sitting in the dunker spot a lot. And Durant never did that.
No,
Wemby's not as good a jump shooter as Durant.
Right.
Wemby can shoot jumpers, but that's not. You're like, what does he do? What is it you do here? And like, look, he's averaged 22 points a game this year or whatever it was. Like he's clearly like a good offensive player, but I don't think he can't be your lead ball handler.
No, definitely not. And that's also part of the problem with the Spurs current team construction, which isn't even really a problem because I'll say their problem is they don't have an elite lead ball handler, especially with De'Aaron Fox playing the way that he has off and on. Like he's been up and down. But
Dylan Harper in 3 years, maybe.
Dylan Harper in the wings. So it's a problem that you don't actually have. Also, just looking at their depth chart here, I forgot Bismack Biyombo was on this team.
Shout out Bismack.
Shut up, Bismack
He-
Biyombo.
I bet he's still cashing Magic checks from when they paid him like $80 million. He was one of the guys. Remember the summer when the cap spiked and everybody got insane contracts? He got one of those contracts from the Magic.
Hey, he's got a cursed history. Like good for him to finally land here, but he was drafted by Sacramento, traded to Charlotte, then played in Orlando, went back to Charlotte, then played in Phoenix for the two teams I think before they made the finals, or maybe he was on one of their finals teams. But shout outs to Bismack Biyombo for landing somewhere that's actually playing in an NBA finals. You know,
Yeah, definitely.
although he's not playing. But anyways, back to the actual players on this team. I don't think Wemby has a spot, and maybe it's you need to add in like the article yet at the end of that sentence.
Yeah.
But like you said, like on offense, like his offensive highlights are either he makes a 3-pointer from the logo and you go, oh my god, that should be impossible with this guy. Like that's not how these big men play. Or he's putting up down a lob from Stephon Castle. But yeah, like you don't expect him to take like the Kevin Durant float away from the elbow. You don't expect him to do like the LeBron James 360 fade away, the Dirk fade away. I guess a lot of people's signature shots a fade away. The James Harden gather step 3.
Yeah, there's something that I do want to emphasize here is that him getting to the finals already is what's making us talk about this.
Yes.
Like the fact that it's his third year, he's 22. If they had lost to Oklahoma City, we wouldn't. This is the Jordan not losing in the finals thing.
Yeah.
Of we're like, is Wemby there on offense yet? He's the best player on a finals team. He's 22. You know, like that's ridiculous.
That's exactly a good point to maintain. What sparked this conversation is me saying that he can't be the GOAT if he loses in the finals, and he's 22 years old. And I'm saying like he could be the GOAT if he wins this finals.
Yeah. Did the Bulls make the playoffs when Jordan was 22? Was he on the Bulls when he was 22? Because he played in college more? You know, like
that's a good question. I also can't picture Michael Jordan at 22 years old.
80s Michael Jordan is like non-existent to me. I know I watched The Last Dance, so I remember seeing it, but I can only picture 90s Jordan.
Yeah,
people just ignore his first like 7 years in the NBA.
There's a Max Kellerman quote where he talks about how the 10 years before you're born are your blind spot culturally, because everyone who is around when you were born, to them that's still the culture, and so they don't think to teach it to you. And so there's never a time where like you learn it. And so for us being born in the 90s, it's like 80s basketball.
Kinda.
Yeah, 96 for me, you know? 80s basketball is just a black hole.
Yeah, my dad was never like, Tyler, you got to watch some Larry Bird tape. Like, my dad was a Bulls fan. He was like, we're watching Jordan tape, you know? By the way, Jordan's 22-year-old season was the 85-86 season. That was the year he, like, tore his ACL or something. I can't remember what the injury was. It was the year he was out for the whole year.
Okay.
His sophomore season. Did you know he averaged 28 points a game his rookie year? That's ridiculous.
How many did Cooper Flagg average this year?
That's a great point. Shit. Cooper Flagg averaged 21. He averaged a 21, 7, and 4. Jordan averaged a 28, 6, and 6.
Well, I know this is a little bit of a bold
28,
take.
6, and 6.
This is a little bit of a bold take. But I'm starting to think Michael Jordan might be better than Cooper Flagg.
Second team NBA, all NBA. That's crazy. 6th place for MVP. I don't think I knew that Jordan's rookie year was that good.
I also didn't know you could get 6th place for MVP. I thought they only announced the top 5.
His third season in the NBA, he averaged 37 points a game. So that's the Wemby comp.
37?
Right? Yeah.
What? These are like Gretzky stats. How do you average 37 in the post-merger NBA?
And guess what? He didn't win MVP.
Magic? Did Magic win it?
It was Magic Johnson. Yeah. What did Magic average? Magic averaged 24 points, 12 assists.
It's like a moderate.
You want to
James
hear
Harden.
something even crazier? Jordan scored 37 points a game. Take a guess what his 3-point percentage was.
Oh man, can you give me the total number of threes he took, and I'll guess the percentage?
Yeah.
It's got to be under 100, right? Is it under 50?
3-point attempts. Well, per game it was 0.8 threes per game.
Okay. Which means it'd be less than 82.
Basketball Reference only has the average. It doesn't have the total number. Hang on, let me find his totals. Here you go. He took 66 3-pointers
Excellent.
in 82 games.
I'm going to say he hit 22 for a 30% three-point rate.
He hit 12 for an 18% three-point rate. 37 points per game. He hit 12 threes all year. Think of how many shots that dude was taking.
I was at a Wizards game where Steph Curry hit 12 threes in a game.
Yeah.
And Jordan did that for the entire 88
Michael
season.
Jordan. The Michael Jordan did that in a season.
So I guess we're saying Cooper Flag is worse than Jordan, but Steph Curry is better than Jordan.
One last crazy Jordan stat for his third year in the NBA. It was also that year's the year he took the most shots per game. He took 28 shots a game on average.
How bored do you think the other players on the team were?
Can you name another one? Was Charles Oakley on that team?
I think
they traded him, right?
Yeah, I think that was before Pippen.
Yeah, Pippen didn't arrive till 88.
Would Kerr have been on that team?
No, Kerr didn't. Kerr wasn't on the first 3 title teams.
Okay.
He only has 4 rings with them. He wasn't on the first 2. He was on the third one, and then he was on the second three-peat. Ron Harper was on the first three-peat. Shout out to bring us back to. I want to talk about Dylan Harper some more. What are the odds in 5 years the Spurs have 2 first-team All-NBA players?
I mean,
like, what are the odds they have the best player in the league and the best point guard in the league?
Here's like, I don't think that's way outside the question, because like Dylan Harper.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he's big for a point guard, but like when he breaks into the starting lineup, you also have to think at that point too, there is a chance they have 3 players make an all defensive team in Wemby, Stephon Castle, and Dylan Harper.
I'm trying to find how many times a team has had 2 first-team All-NBA players. Can you
Wayne
name the
LeBron?
last time it happened?
Oh,
no,
Curry
never.
and Clay.
Nope.
Oh, sorry, Curry and Durant.
Nope.
What year was the
No
last time it
Curry.
happened?
2019, 2020.
2019, 2020.
It was a
LeBron and
bubble
AD.
team. LeBron and AD, yeah.
Yeah.
Before that, it was Nash and Stoudemire.
In the 30s?
Maybe. Yeah, and then
100 years.
Shaq and Kobe did it 3 times.
Of course they did.
And then before that, it was Jordan and Pippen.
Yeah. Man, how did Durant and Curry not make a first team All NBA in 2017?
That's a great question.
The first team All NBA should have just been the starting lineup for the Golden State Warriors that year.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe we could kick Iguodala to third team, you know.
So instead of doing basketball history, I did want to continue your train of thought there on the Dylan Harper thing. Like that's the thing that's so annoying about this San Antonio team. Like a few years ago, when the Mavs beat the Timberwolves and made the final against Boston, that wasn't as annoying to me as OKC or San Antonio, because I just look at these teams and it's like, well, what are they going to be in a few years? Like this San Antonio team with Harper, Castle, and Wemby as their core. Then outside of that, they have Champagnie and Vassell, who are both NBA starter caliber players, obviously. And then just like quietly in the background, they have Carter Bryant, who's given like really good postseason minutes. You can just put in whatever Jags you want around them. Like Harrison Barnes and Luke Cornett play like shit, and they still are in the NBA Finals.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
like it's scary, man.
Keldon Johnson won 6th Man of the Year. He got 8 minutes in Game 1. I couldn't tell you a thing Keldon Johnson did in Game 1. I don't remember him in Game 1. And he won 6th Man of the Year. Although that
I can't remember
said,
a thing Keldon Johnson's ever done. To be fair, I remember when he was on. Remember when he was on the Team USA.
Was he really?
Yeah, I remember Bill
This
Simmons
year?
being like, "This is big." No, it was like 4 years ago.
Yeah, but like the last Olympics, or
no, it was the Olympics before Paris.
Jesus.
He was like his second or third year, and Bill Simmons was like, "This is big for him. This is going to be big for him."
I mean, in retrospect, definitely was, because outside of 6th Man of the Year, it's the only notable thing he's done. Like this team's probably gonna move off De'Aaron Fox, but then they have other options, which is it's just fucking nuts. Also, De'Aaron Fox, only starting lineup player who wasn't a negative in box plus minus.
Yeah, absolutely.
Should we talk about the Knicks?
Yeah, the team that won. The
team that won after we were done blowing the San Antonio Spurs, who couldn't crack 100. There's no talking about the Knicks without starting with their 2 star players, Jalen Brunson, who went out of the game with a knee injury, came back in, and then rolled his ankle completely sideways on, I think it was Champagne's foot.
And then came back in again.
And didn't do shit for most of the game, which I think something very impressive that happened is he goes out to the locker room. My first thought is, well, next season's over. And then Jose Alvarado suddenly is like, you guys remember I can play good one side of every 3 games, right?
Yeah, and they got the good game.
They got the good game. Yeah.
But it also helped that Karl Anthony Towns had maybe the most complete game of his career. I would say best because he scored 60 a few times, but like
never in a win.
Never in a win. But he definitely he was cooking out there. He threw an entry pass to, is it Anunoby or someone? It was someone got him the ball with his back to the basket like 18 feet, and they ran this little curl around him, and he threw it like over his shoulder to the cutting guy behind him, past the defender who was still trailing, and it looked like for an easy layup. I was like, that's like a Jokic pass.
Yeah, I watched hundreds of games for 8 years. More than that. It was like 11 years? No, not that much. Maybe it was 10 years. I think maybe I'll just split the difference and say 10 years of him on the Timberwolves, where he didn't have this offensive skill set. Like, he was a very good shooter. He could be a defensive liability because he over-pursued on defense, which did happen in this game. He had a really dumb offensive foul. Didn't matter because everything else outweighed that. He didn't have this playmaking game that he has shown on the Knicks, especially this year. And I don't know if it's just the coaching's unlocked it. I don't know if it's the way that his role changed, but he's playing like 25 feet out from the basket as the distributor, giving, Brunson a break here and there. And just, like you said, like, he's finding the open guy over and over again. I mean, like, him and Josh Hart have developed a ridiculous mind meld where...
Yeah, maybe it was Josh Hart on the cut.
It could have been, yeah. I don't remember the specific play off the top of my head. But, this team... The other crazy thing about the gravity of Karl Anthony Towns is the team shot 31% from 3. Towns went 0 for 2. But he was still getting guarded at the 3-point line
by Wemby.
By
was
Wemby
guarding Cat most of the game.
Yeah,
which is interesting.
Wemby, unless they did like the box and one, at which case it would be like Champagnie or Carter Bryant. No, I mean, I don't remember Carter Bryant specifically, but Harrison Barnes would be on him occasionally. Like, they would bring a guy out with some length, and they were just like face guarding him at the 3-point line, which opens up everything in the middle for resurgent, returning, the god of pretending to be injured and coming back, almost called him Chris Paul, the Paul Pierce of this NBA Finals.
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson, who can just now, Towns is getting guarded 15 feet from the basket by Wemby, and Jalen Brunson's just going to drive by his man over and over again for 1,000 layups.
Yeah,
I need to pull up his shot chart. What did Brunson's shot chart end up looking like in this one?
That's a great question. He did score 30. In all this, like, Brunson played like shit. He did take 31 shots, but he did score 30.
He was so bad in the first half, and it wasn't like the moment was too big for him or anything like that. It's just like
he was
nothing,
dealing with a knee injury.
Nothing would go in, yeah. And then he in the second half they shot him up with all the cortisol on earth, and he just suddenly was unstoppable driving to the basket. By the way, pulled up his shot chart. If you looked at a heat map of it, it would basically be blood red in the paint. Everything that was like a little bunny hook jumper from like the elbows missed, and then he had
his jumper was not going down.
Yeah,
unless he was like falling to the floor in the final 2 minutes. There's that one crazy floater. That play was ridiculous. That was insane.
He has so many layups on the left side of the basket, which was just him getting by his defender and doing that one-arm little scoop layup he does over and over again. He has so many, just looking at his shot chart, so many makes on the left side of the basket.
Yeah, they need to get him to his right hand, dude. De'Aaron Fox is literally a lefty. Like, you need to get him to his right hand because then you're gonna beat him.
He's like inverse Jaylen Brown.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the stats here to see if there's anything worth talking about.
Yeah, I'll hit a few other things I had down here then. Mr. Robinson seems like having a broken pinky did in fact not affect his game at all. Just like we all expected. It had no impact on his game. He went 0 for 1 from the free throw line. He would have done that with perfectly healthy hands. Didn't grab as many rebounds, but didn't play a ton of minutes. But
yeah,
just once again, putbacks, getting some rebounds, there to just foul Wemby a few times if need be. Can't overstate how good Towns was in this one. I mean, phenomenally. Like, Karl-Anthony Towns, he had a quote after the game where he talked about how, like, a few hours before the game, he went from nerves to just a calm, and he said it reminded him of playing AAU ball. Like, he's just going to go out there and have fun. And I was like, man, I watched Karl-Anthony Towns spend his entire career flopping, complaining at refs, just hacking someone in the forearms when they were going for a layup. And then watching this finals game, I'm like, that's the number one overall pick. That's the guy. Like, just the calm, the composure, and the complete playmaking was such a surprise.
Yeah, it's not even like he took a ton of shots. It was just he had 18 points, 12 rebounds, defended Wemby a lot.
Yeah.
Something interesting about this game that is how many fouls Wemby drew. Like, Wemby was their leading scorer at 26, but he had 13 free throw attempts. Which, is that going to continue? Like, if Wemby plays like this and doesn't get a whistle, like, that's a blowout.
Well, you know whose officiating crew this was, right?
Yeah, it was Scott Foster.
It was Scott Foster. So I would guess next time, unless it's Tony Brothers.
Unless it's Tony Brothers is the only one who's worse.
Let me see if I can pull up the ref for the next game. The game tonight.
I mean, we should know. It's tonight.
I
just got an alert from Letterboxd that Lawrence of Arabia is available on Netflix. I should fire that one up.
Come on, that should be illegal. You shouldn't be allowed to put Lawrence of Arabia on Netflix. What are we doing? It's like, hey, you can now watch like Vertigo on Pluto TV on your phone. It is Tony Brothers tonight.
Oh, it is Tony Brothers?
The replay. Sean Wright's the replay center ref.
Oh, God.
Fuck.
Yeah, get ready.
Yeah, everyone be sure that you take a nap before this game because it's going long.
Someone's going to get ejected, and then they're going to show the replay, and he will not have even touched him, and the Tony Brothers would be like, he looked at him funny, so I was right the whole time.
Yeah, when we get to our actual Game 2 preview, I do want to do a bet on who's going to get kicked.
Tony Brothers is the only ref in the NBA. Not to keep ragging on Tony Brothers, who seems, a gentleman referee who's been around a long time. He's the only ref I actually believe refuses to change his calls.
Yeah, after getting challenged.
After being challenged, because he wants to be right.
He's the reason they need the replay center in Secaucus. Because if Tony Brothers goes to, like, Tony Brothers could call like a foul on a shooting foul, and if he goes to the review and the guy doesn't touch the ball or the guy at all and it just slips out of someone's hands, he would still say, nope, call stands.
Yeah, 100%. It's crazy. Anyway,
last few notes I have on Game 1. Another guy just held his water. Landry Shamet. I don't know what the fuck has happened to him these playoffs. Like, there is in the NHL, there's this guy Brett Howden. Brett Howden plays for the Vegas Golden Knights. Brett Howden had 12 goals in the regular season. Played 62 games. 12 goals. Not a prolific goal scorer. For reference, for people who don't watch hockey, your best goal scorers are somewhere between 50 to 70 in a given year. So 12 goals. Not a prolific goal scorer. Good contributor on a lower line. In the playoffs, after last night, he is up to 13. 13 goals in the playoffs, 12 in the regular season. And you go, well, this isn't sustainable. This isn't going to keep happening. What the fuck happened to Brett Howden? Shamet's like a tier below that, because Shamet at least was like a competent NBA player off the bench for his entire career. But this Shamet run in the playoffs has been absurd, including Game 1, where he ends up going 50% from 3, 5 for 9 from the field for
How old
13
do you
points.
think Landry Shamet is?
32.
He's 28 years old.
That's not great. That's not great, Landry. That's not great. You shouldn't be younger than me and have the energy of someone older than me.
Well, it's just like, I remember him he's been on multiple deep run playoff teams from previous eras.
Yeah.
Like when he was on that Brooklyn team, the Durant, Kyrie he was on the foot on the line Durant team. He was 23. And then the next year, he was on the Chris Paul, Booker, Ayton Suns.
Yeah, just looking at his career so far, he has basically never played for the same team 3 years in a row. Not basically. He has literally never played for the same team 3 years in a row.
Yeah, the longest run was 2 years with Phoenix and now 2 years with the Knicks.
That's wild. That Landry
Interesting.
Shamet's career should be studied.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Right
what an
now.
interesting career. Well, it also kind of tells the story of the NBA a little bit, you know?
As Landry Shamet goes, the NBA goes.
Yeah, he was on those like scrappy Clippers teams. Remember when the Clippers Paul George
You mean when they had Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on the team?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Pat Bev and who else was on that team?
Bismack Biyombo.
Bismack Biyombo,
That's not
probably.
True. That's not true. It's just...
Hang on, I gotta see who's on those teams. But then we'll continue.
Right now.
Game, whatever. What game? This game tonight. What game do you think?
What just happened to you? Did you just get disclosure date? That's definitely not going to come through on the podcast, but it was a very funny bit.
Yeah.
Right now, the Orlando Magic, they get a voucher in the mail, and you can either bring one of these two players onto your team for the next season, and their contract will be paid by, I don't know, Jeff Bezos.
Sure.
You either get Trae Young or Landry Shamet. Who are you taking?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think I gotta go with Shamet.
Yeah, I
He
feel like
shoot in the playoffs. That's all we need. Is shooting in the playoffs.
He's got good vibes.
Yeah.
I will also say, just because we blew half the Spurs roster, I do want to shout out Josh Hart, who had a terrible statistical game, but once again, in typical Josh Hart fashion, was always in the right spot, ends up with a shitload of rebounds. I was listening to a podcast, which is always a terrible way to start an anecdote on a podcast, where one of the hosts talks about how there was a mic'd up thing for Josh Hart at some point, where he was talking to Mitchell Robinson, and he went, "You get rebounds that are rebounds, I get rebounds that change games."
Oh, damn.
That's a hell of a line, and also pretty true. He led the entire game in rebounds, despite there being a 7'9" alien and Karl Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson. He still led the game in rebounds.
Yeah, man.
But just Josh Hart. Josh Hart has to be the most annoying player to play in the world, because if you just look up at the jumbotron at any given point, which I assume Wemby does because he almost hits his head on it whenever he passes center court. But you look up at it, and Josh Hart is going to be like 1 for 3 for 2 points.
Yeah.
But he's going to have been in your shorts all night. He's going to have 3 steals, 7 rebounds, and he's going to be a plus 11 at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah. He's great. I love him. We love him. I love a scrappy guard.
Has he taken the scrappy white guy crown from Alex Caruso despite not being a white guy?
Okay, I was about to ask. Yeah, he's taken the Caruso crown from Caruso for sure.
Which is bad, because Caruso really needs some headwear.
Yeah, he needs... You have to be bald. That's the thing we're realizing. Josh Hart's the first one to do it who isn't bald. Because there's Derek White, you know.
Yeah. Derek White is somehow more bald than most people, though. He's extra bald.
He's like Austin Butler and Dune bald.
Hey, another movie sidetrack real quick. Lupita Nyong'o is in Force Awakens?
Yeah.
Who the fuck is she?
She's the voice of Maz Kanata. The orange lady, the old orange lady.
Oh, did she do not the VO? Did she do the performance cap?
Yeah.
Also, Andy Serkis is not Darth Plagueis, but the guy who I keep thinking is Darth Plagueis.
What is the name of that character? That character's name is...
It starts with an S.
Snoke.
Also, Snoke in episode... Episode 9. Episode
9 is Rise of Skywalker. 8
episode
is
8.
Last
Yeah,
Jedi.
he's in episode 8. Way smaller than I expected when you actually see him. It's like, wait, he's just
Wait, did you watch Last Jedi?
I'm partway through it. I can only watch movies in like
Chunks
45
now?
minutes chunks right now. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But he's like just like a normal sized dude. Like he's shorter or the same height as Adam Driver.
He's tall. He's like 9 feet tall. But it
He's
is
not 9
disappointing
feet
that he's
tall.
not gigantic.
Yeah, why is he projecting himself as gigantic? What the fuck, dude?
Yeah, that would have been cool
Anyways,
if he was actually just like really big.
He should have been really big. Why is there no really big
big.
Jedi? That's what I want to know. We need really big Jedi. That's my Star Wars pitch. Someone call up J.J. Abrams. I got a pitch for episode 10. Really big Jedi.
I've heard Liam Neeson is pretty big, if you know what I mean. Pamela Anderson talks.
Yeah, I was
about
about to say
it all the
someone
time.
called Pamela Anderson. Could he drive a boat with his dick, though? That's my question.
That's a great question. Maybe in the next Naked Gun.
Anyways, any more notes from game one? You got any OG Anunoby's thoughts? Any Mikal Bridges thoughts?
OG Anunoby good at basketball.
Yes.
Maybe they should try having him score more. Maybe
17
don't
points.
to have Brunson. I would love to see the Knicks. I would love Brunson not to take 30 shots.
But if Brunson does take 30 shots, don't they lose this game?
Maybe. I mean, he didn't make that many of them.
He made a shitload in the fourth quarter when they were down 14.
Yeah, in the fourth quarter, but they wouldn't have been in that position if he had taken fewer shots in the first three quarters, potentially. I don't know, just a thought.
What do you adjust if you're San Antonio for game two?
I don't want Wemby guarding Cat anymore.
Yeah.
You
just put Champagny on him and just say.
So in the third quarter, put Champagny on Cat, and in the third quarter they put Wemby on Hart, which means that they just dared Josh Hart to shoot, and that was when they made their run to go up 14 because Wemby was just able to play like kind of box and one kind of vibe. That's when they went to that. They left Josh Hart open.
That the Knicks have made
the
this
Knicks
run
couldn't score
with two super important players who are just sometimes offensive complete zeros in Josh
But
Hart
that's
and
the
Mitch
thing
Robinson.
is they took Hart, like Mike Brown, to his credit, was like, oh, we're down 14. I know Josh Hart's our guy, but we're taking him out of the game. And that's when they put in Shamet. And all of a sudden Wemby was forced to guard to the, you got to play 5 out and shoot to attack Wemby in this San Antonio offense or defense. And that's what they did. And they came back.
There's obviously no Wemby secret, but I feel like game one, my takeaway was like, if you just keep driving, he's not going to block all of them.
You know what? When people describe how to beat Wemby, they're like, how do you beat Wemby? And it's like, well, you have to shoot a lot and you have to play 5 out. And you're like, that's really hard. It's the same as in the NFL when they're like, well, how do you beat Patrick Mahomes? Well, you have to cover well and get home with 4 pass rushers.
Yeah, that's it's a famous talent alone bit that I always say that people would say the only way you beat Brady is by getting pressure by rushing 4. And I was like, isn't that the way you beat every quarterback?
Anybody?
Yeah.
You could be that's called playing elite defense. Is getting pressure with 4 and covering.
That's being the LA Rams this year.
Yeah, exactly.
You got any Myles Garrett thoughts before we move on to game 2?
I'm excited to see him at the restaurant. We get the Rams in sometimes.
I was going to ask if you thought that he was going to come into the restaurant.
Hope so.
Did Jared Verse ever come in?
No.
Never once?
Nope.
Did any other defensive players? You ever see Cam Curl in there?
I saw the other safety. We don't get a ton of athletes because we're in West Hollywood. We're not near any of the stadiums or practice facilities.
Yeah.
Honestly, the most athletes we get are people who come in from other cities where the restaurants are closer, so people know those restaurants. Like the Dallas Mavericks, every time they're in town, come into the restaurant because they're regulars at the Dallas restaurant.
That seems weird. It seems weird I mean, I guess they get to travel to every city, but yeah.
It's Los Angeles. It's pretty good food scene here, I would say.
Yeah, but it'd be like if I went to, I don't know, fucking Maine, and when I was there, I was like, "Do you guys have any deep dish? You guys do deep dish here?" I also understand that like I'm a sociopath, but like if I'm a professional athlete, I'm not eating at a restaurant ever. I am going to have like my $120,000 a year personal chef give me like the optimal food at every single meal, and just be like, make this taste good enough for me to jam down my gullet.
It's frankly astonishing how much Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase drank when they came in. I was like, maybe you should drink less and maybe your ACL won't explode every year.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, maybe if Joe Burrow dropped the 15 pounds of beer weight, his ACL wouldn't blow up once every 3 years.
And just drinking fucking sake lychee martinis.
I'm here with Mike Regan, Town Alone Podcast. Mike, you are a lifelong New York Knicks fan, and your New York Knicks are now up 2-0 in the NBA Finals over the favorite San Antonio Spurs. Knicks in 4. Before we get into breaking down Game 2, which is what you are here to do, are you concerned that the Knicks only seem capable of scoring 105 points in the NBA Finals?
as long as the Spurs are only capable of scoring 104, why the fuck would I care?
What's you drinking there, bud? Is that beer? You got beerski? You got brewski?
Yeah. Yeah,
What
Brisky.
what kind? You shut him out.
Got a Labatt's.
Labatt's. You're such a Labatt's guy.
Labatt's guy.
What is that? Just because it's cheap? You're cheap and you're a cheap
No.
little slut? Oh.
I feel like if you've ever lived in Buffalo, you probably drink a lot of Labatt's. Probably pretty normal.
Yeah, I'd also probably have a lower opinion of myself and consider jumping off bridges more often. But Mike,
Jesus, that got dark.
Mike, last night, Game 2, NBA Finals. The Knicks, who have not been in the finals in 27 years, have not won a championship in 53 years, took a 14-point lead that they squandered, threw it away. Squandered it. Let's start there. So, at two different times, the Spurs went on a 7-0 run and a 14-0 run.
Mm-hmm.
Both times pulling either even or ahead of the Knicks in that process.
Yeah.
What changed from Game 1 to Game 2 that allowed the Spurs to get so far back into this game? When Game 1, they kind of just gave up their lead and never got it back.
I feel like defensively they came out a lot better early on.
That'd be the Spurs
and
did?
then the Spurs did, yeah. And then that kind of picked back up. And it also helps that, sorry, I won't say we. Pronouns, pal. The Knicks kind of started to go cold offensively. Like, Brunson didn't have it all night.
Yeah, it's a tough Brunson game.
Yeah.
Tough Brunson game.
It was a surprisingly tough Brunson game. I mean, he had 20 points, but 7 of 25 shooting. Not good.
Yeah, he had 20 points on 25 shots.
Yeah. So, not great. The analytics would tell you that. And then Cat, well, I'm sure we'll probably touch on him more, but for as dominant as he was, like that fourth quarter, I was kind of looking for him.
Well, you'd have to look onto the bench. Jesus.
So they were all scared that he'd get 2 more fouls and they wouldn't have him. So they'd rather just not have him on the floor while being on the bench.
Let's go back through the end of this game though. And then we'll do some winners and losers in a quick Game 3 preview. So the Knicks have a 14-point lead. They cough up a 14-0 run in which Mike Brown has to burn 2 timeouts or 3 timeouts during that process.
I know he for sure burned 2.
He for sure burned 2. The Spurs...
We finished the game with 1 in our pocket still, so...
And you get to use that next game, right?
Nope.
Really? Are you sure? Have we checked the rules?
I'll double check. I'll check with NBA headquarters.
So the Spurs take the lead with less than a minute left in the game. At this point, did you think that you had the Knicks had choked it away? I almost did the opposite of the pronouns.
No, I didn't, but I wasn't feeling great. Like you because the Knicks came back from 13 down, albeit did I pronounce that right? Albeit they did it in the third quarter to tie it going into the fourth and then just took care of business. But still, like, came back from 13 last game. So when the Spurs come back from 14 this game, you're like, oh boy, here we go. It's the other side of the coin now. But I feel like any game that comes down to, like, if we're inside 30 seconds and it's a 1-score game, like, I'm not shitting my pants like, oh, it's definitely over.
You know, I just realized I'm an idiot. Alexa, stop. I had music playing in the background this whole time. It's been on all day, and I totally forgot about it. Well, now I'll probably have to use the Discord audio for the first 5 minutes of this podcast.
Your mic shouldn't pick that up unless you had it on real loud.
My mic probably picked it up. So, Knicks take the lead, 104-105. Brunson hits the fadeaway jumper over, I think it's Vassell and Harper. He's being guarded by 2 guards. Hits the fadeaway jumper. Then we get the Wemby passes it off the back of Vassell, or is that after the free throw? No, that's before the free throw. So Wemby goes to pass the ball up the court to Castle, not Vassell. And Castle is just facing away from him. And he just throws it against the back of Castle. Brunson gets the steal and gets fouled.
You got me confused here, because I thought, am I misremembering the game I watched every second of last night?
Probably. So
no, you're right. You're right. Now I remember, because you're right, because Brunson missed the second free throw, so we were only up 1 point. And at that point, I was flabbergasted. What is happening? Most clutch player in the league.
First off, did he miss that intentionally? Because it makes a lot of sense for him to miss it intentionally, right? There was 9.5 seconds left. You miss it, you get the rebound, the game's over. I couldn't tell if that was an intentional miss or not.
Yeah, but I get if I'm the one calling that shot, I'm like, I'd rather make it, get back on defense, and be up 2 points instead of hypothetically we get the rebound and win the game.
So to get to those free throws, though, Wemby passes it into the back of Dalton Castle. Not Dalton Castle. Why do I always do that? Stephon Castle.
Yeah, for those, real quick, for those who didn't see it, this is a quick screen grab.
That's an excellent screen grab.
And if you squint, you see something really interesting. You ready for this?
Uh-huh.
The new NBA logo.
Oh my God. How did you... That is incredible. If you're not watching the video podcast, you're missing out on some great video content right now. You sent me... The funniest text I got of the night was you sent me a text that said that he hit him right in the numbers.
Yeah.
That's on Castle to catch it. He got hit in the numbers.
It's on Castle.
The most outstanding thing coming out of that, too, is just the fact that after Brunson gets the ball off of Castle's back, that then Wemby does the most 22-year-old move possible and tries to double down on a negative and fouls Brunson, who goes to the line, sinks one to go up a point.
He pushed his ass out of bounds.
Yeah.
He was not happy with that turnover. Yeah. Which is understandable. I saw Castle had I think the quote or something, he said that he was just, trying to get up court, give Wemby some space. And my first thought was, are you explaining it like you made a mistake? You didn't make the mistake, bro.
I mean, there's if we're doing the blame pie here, what slice of the pie does Wemby get for that? You're allowed to provide anyone onto the pie. It's not just Castle and Wemby if there's other people you think are at fault. But I want to know what percent Wemby gets and what percent other people get.
I mean, I don't know about that specific play, but for losing the game in general, I think Wemby gets 24 minutes of the pie because he didn't play for 24 minutes of that game. He was on the court, people, but chose not to play.
Yeah, he had a tough first quarter, but we'll get into that in our winners and losers.
Okay.
So after that, fouls Brunson. Brunson makes one free throw. Let me ask you this, Mike. Did Luke Cornett kick the ball? Do you care?
He did. Luke Cornett kicked the ball, but if you watch a lot of sports, especially against when it's your team, it's easy to get hung up on a play, but there's so many plays in every game of every sport that you could hang yourself up on. Mm-hmm. Just let it go.
Yeah. I mean, I would be more. I'd be more in my rage bag over the dog shit technical on Mitch Robinson and the two bad fouls on Cat than I would be about Luke Cornett kicking the ball and not getting called for it. Mm-hmm. After that, they run an inbound play, ends up in Wemby's hands, who, in classic big man fashion, I believe he drove into the paint really hard, went up with two hands and dunked it home, right?
They were giving him space to drive.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to 2 steps.
They didn't want to get just completely blown by or beat, or like that thing he does where he just rotates around and does the Brunson layup, but he has the Michael Jordan at the end of Space Jam arms.
Mm-hmm.
And so they gave him some space, and he said, Nowitzki! Dinked it off the back iron. But the Knicks steal one. The Knicks steal one on the road. Actually, some would say they steal 2 on the road, but the first one was more of a definitive Knicks statement win. 13 straight. 2 away from the first championship in New York since the 1970s. Because obviously, all of the Giants championships are in New Jersey.
Yes.
Although the Rangers, I suppose. Anyways, no, we're not getting bogged down with minutia, Mike, all right? I don't know why... and the Liberty. The Liberty won recently. I don't know why you're trying to get bogged down with minutia, Mike. We're not talking about that.
All right.
What I do want to do, now that we've gone through the beat by beat of the end of this game, let's do some winners and losers. Let's do some winners and losers from Game 2 of the NBA Finals. Let's start with some winners, because we just spent a solid 6 minutes dunking on Wemby, which is ironic because it's something Wemby doesn't do anymore, apparently.
Foreshadowing.
He had some monster dunks, and then that last play he went, what if I get further away from the basket?
Yeah.
So you want to give me your first winner there, Mike? Yeah.
I kind of I did say, hey, you kind of faded in the background in the fourth when I talked about Cat. I still think it was a win for Cat that game.
Yeah, if you had flipped his game around and he had a very quiet first quarter and a dominant second through fourth quarter, everyone would be calling him the clutch player of the game, the reason they won. But instead, because the fourth quarter was where he faded, and, part of the third due to foul trouble, everyone's like, Cat faded down the stretch.
Yeah, like he was just putting that first 2 quarters, he was putting belt to ass on Wemby all night.
Yeah.
Wemby wanted no part of it. So it was a great Cat game. Cat
has looked like a halfway point between Ray Allen and Jokic during these playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely he doesn't have
combined.
He doesn't have the Jokic the Jokic peak or the Ray Allen peak, but he's doing enough of both of them for me. He's like in the Venn diagram in the middle, or you know how when you load up an RPG, you can take away stat points from one of your categories to put in another category.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he took away some Jokic to put in Ray Allen, so he's not greater than either one, but has Jokic and Ray Allen points in his character card right now.
Yeah, and that was such a huge thing for the Knicks to be able to have that inside in order to win the series, to have that. And I think in the past, we've kind of gotten frustrated with Cat sometimes with the way he plays, where you're like, dude, go out there and fucking take over inside. And he's doing it now with the way he's rebounding and some of the big boy, tough man baskets he's making. And he also went 3 of 5 from 3, so that's always nice too.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the Cat you want.
Yeah, and there's no indication of this really letting up. I mean, he's been this way all playoffs. It's not like this has been an aberration for 2 games. It's since CJ McCollum was the last guy on earth who could beat the New York Knicks. Yeah. He's basically just been the Conn Smythe guy. I mean, he's been the best player in the playoffs. I'll give you one of my winners.
Okay.
The Dylan Harper narrative. De'Aaron Fox, who maybe this should be the loser's De'Aaron Fox, but De'Aaron Fox goes 8 for 12, 2 for 2 from 3, with 3 rebounds, 5 assists, and ends up as a +2, which isn't major, but in a 1-point loss, a +2 means something. And all we can say is, hey, when are they gonna start giving Dylan Harper more minutes? Dylan Harper had 32 minutes, 2 less than Fox, and I'm still it's time to bump Fox to the bench and let Harper onto that top unit with Stephon Castle.
Yeah.
Whenever Fox is on the court and Brunson has the ball, I'm like, okay, well now Wemby's a less effective defender because he has to guard the paint for when Brunson gets by Fox, which is how you get kickouts constantly from the Knicks.
Well, I think that one possession was
we'll talk about that possession later. I
also
maybe
beautiful at the same time. Yeah.
I maybe have a winner in that possession.
Okay. Yeah. And I think I just totally blanked the point I was going to make. So back to you, Adam.
Podcast. Making me edit. Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
Loser. Josh Hart. And not because Josh Hart doesn't do enough. He does plenty. But in the first game, he had 15 rebounds and 4 points. This game, 0 points, 6 rebounds, 18 minutes, and he nearly fouled out.
He's one of my losers as well.
Yeah, I mean, listen, man. He's one of 2 Knicks that played real minutes that were had a negative plus minus in the starting lineup. The other being, of course, Jalen Brunson, who was a -10 despite hitting the most important 2 shots of the game.
Yeah, it was frustrating with Hart is that I wouldn't say frustrating. Game 1, he kind of, despite having 0 points, he kind of slid by a little bit. He had
15 rebounds. He led the game in rebounds, despite the game having Wemby and Karl Anthony Towns. Yeah.
So he kind of slid by on that, and then this game, it was just all around bad, in my opinion, to the point where we collapsed in the fourth. Sorry, the Knicks collapsed in the fourth, and I'm just looking at why? I love the hustle, Hart, but I don't think you should be out here right now. Give me Shamet. Put Shamet back on the court, dude.
Hey, I don't even have this one written down, but can we do a winner for Landry Wheels Shamet? Why is that guy so fucking fast?
I don't know.
He'll be running up the floor at a jogging pace. It looks like Usain Bolt blowing out of the starting line or starting block sometimes. He's just Landry Shamet will get the ball and go from above the break to the corner, and he's moving faster than any NBA player has ever moved before.
Yeah.
That guy's
kind of.
that guy's like, I can only assume that his face is more of a wind resistance than like an aerodynamic perfect shape.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the guy's got a boat sail for a forehead, and he's still moving that fast. Like, imagine if he got like a real like Edie Falco nose to really cut through the air resistance.
And I don't have him listed down. I just did like 3 of each, but you could put him down as a winner. In that his like legend of this ridiculous like playoff performance he's had here and there grows. Like in a game where, once again, we said it 8 times, Brunson just struggled. Shamet goes 4 of 6 from 3. Lights out. Just killing the Spurs. Shamet threes, baby. I texted you when we had the Jose Alvarado offensive rebound. Kicks it up to Shamet for the 3. Greatest moment in NBA Finals history right there.
Grand Theft Alvarado to Landry Shamet to give the Knicks the lead.
Bang.
You got any more for the Spurs in particular?
Winners or losers?
Either one.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, unfortunately, because he actually played a really good second half, especially in the fourth quarter. But like because he's Wemby, and he missed the last shot, and he had that bad turnover, and he only took 5 shots in the first half. He's going to be listed as a loser.
Yeah.
There's like really
how
no
could
way
he
around.
not? How could he not?
Yeah.
You know, there was
And
Isaiah Hartenstein, I think, said this, the 5th best center in the league, Isaiah Hartenstein, where he said that the way that they've been getting to Wemby is he's just so big that they just try to get him to move because it takes so much energy for him. And the Knicks are doing that, man. I mean, they are playing up in his body. They are, and him guarding Towns, there's just no way he can play 40 quality minutes guarding Towns at the perimeter every game. And they threw a bunch of different defenses at the Knicks, sure. Like, they would play box and one, they'd play a true zone, they'd play man up, right? Like, they threw a bunch of different defenses at the Knicks. But every time that Wemby got pulled out to the 3-point line to guard Cat, in my head I was like, that's good. Doesn't matter if this basket goes in. Pulling Wemby out to the 3-point line is good. This is good for the game.
This is good.
I was texting someone
sometimes
at the end of this game, and they were like, they were like, they were finally on the bandwagon. They were like, I'm rooting for the Knicks.
Hell yeah.
But I want a series. And I replied to them before they said, but I want a series, and I said, hell yeah. And then I was like, oh, I don't. I want the Spurs to get swept. Then next year's playoffs, win 12 straight games through the start of the playoffs, like sweep every team in the West and make it back to the finals and get swept by the Knicks again.
I've never had beef with Wemby until specifically last night. He was getting
how much of that was the Mitchell Robinson tech?
Part of it was that. Part of it was, at one point, he was getting boxed out by Jose Alvarado and just wrapped his arms around him and like swung him away.
Yeah.
No call there. He kind of plays with, like, if you wanna get chippy and get all pissy and say I should get a call or this, like, then how about you play like you're 7 foot and have some more physicality to your game, and not. I'm not saying every time. Sometimes he does. He has those moments where you're like, there it is. But other times he shies away from contact.
Yeah,
part of the last shot of the game.
Yeah, when their offense started humming, it was once again like Stephon Castle lobs to Wemby in the paint, or Wemby getting a few steps and just jumping from inside the free throw line and dunking it. Right, like there was when Wemby was playing well, it was exactly that. He was playing like a 7-footer. He was playing like a big man, and then at the end of the game, he played like Dirk Nowitzki or Kevin Durant, and that ain't your game, bud. You're not that guy, pal.
Is that like a Mitch Johnson? Like, should we be looking at Mitch Johnson and be like, all right, how are you using Wemby early in games?
One of my losers written down is Mitch Johnson, because like the Wemby stuff is, at this point, it's getting a little beyond the pale. Like, Wemby's, and once again, he's 22 years old. Like, we're being extremely critical of a guy who's 22 years old and playing in the final already as the best player on a finals team, right? Like, their path here wasn't easy. They beat
that comes with the territory though. Territory.
Yeah, it does. But we do need to give some grace to Wemby. I think when he loses this, we can officially say he'll never be better than Jordan, because Jordan went 6-0, and now Wemby's going to lose his first one. Doesn't have the Mamba mentality. But like the Mitch Johnson stuff, it's like, okay, you got to be like against this Knicks team. Tell Wemby to go hard to the basket every time. Like you want Cat to be getting dumb cat fouls, which he had one or two, and he had a few calls that shouldn't have been calls.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, this is in the Mitch. I don't know if I said this. I have Mitch Johnson as one of my losers.
Yeah.
Okay. And you want Mitchell Robinson to be getting fouls, and you want OG Anunoby to be getting fouls, and you want Josh Hart to be getting fouls, and that all helps if Wemby is driving hard to the paint over and over again, and it's when your offense is the most dynamic. But on top of that, Mitch Johnson also cannot figure out Brunson for 48 minutes, which isn't an easy task. But if you're not going to be able to figure out Brunson, and you're only figuring out like OG Anunoby and Josh Hart, you're going to get cooked by the top-end guys on the team.
Yeah.
And finally, his whole rotation thing with like Keldon Johnson slowly creeping into the game despite him being the best guy so far guarding Cat, and Dylan Harper coming off the bench and him still giving like a ton of minutes to De'Aaron Fox, Devin Vassell, and Julian Champagnie when they're having like up and down nights and like they're replaceable with guys on the bench who are having better shooting nights and stuff like that, or better defensive players. Like he's just playing a little too loyal to his guys.
There was a really funny moment in that game where Harrison Barnes subs in. And then
that is funny.
A possession or two later, the Knicks subbed in. First time in the game, they subbed in Jose Alvarado. And I was like, it's that part of the game. Okay.
It's the Harrison Barnes versus Jose Alvarado.
Yeah.
I have one more loser written down.
Okay.
Tony Brothers.
That was my last loser, too.
Listen, man. You could either call the game soft, or you can call the game hard. But don't call it inconsistent. Just don't call it inconsistent, man. Like, and I'm typically not the refs fucked this team or the refs fucked that team guy. Like, the refs aren't typically biased. I mean, it doesn't help that every player on the Knicks was yelling at Tony Brothers by the end, and he's the kind of guy who's going to dig his heels in. But you called two incredibly soft fouls on Cat that I disagreed with. You called an incredibly soft tech on Mitchell Robinson that I don't agree with. But then there was a play where Devin Vassell went for a layup and got clobbered. I mean, completely clocked by, I can't remember if it was OG or Cat, but he got like obliterated. Ends up on his ass. No whistle. Mm-hmm. Like, call the game consistent. I don't care which way you call it. Just call it consistent.
That was my exact beef. And I think it was Richard Jefferson on commentary at one point made this comment where he was like, there wasn't a call on something. He was like, they're letting them battle it out. And I was like, but that's the problem. Is when there's like physicality that is definitely a foul, they're not blowing the whistle, but all their foul calls are soft and weak.
Yeah. That Richard Jefferson,
so they're not letting them battle it out.
I believe Richard Jefferson specifically said that they're letting them get too physical. And I was like, didn't Mitch Robinson get a tech for like standing near Wemby?
Right. They both just shoved each other. And Foster was like, not Foster, sorry, Brothers was like, we got to calm this down. Whoa, it's getting out of hand, boys.
This is turning to the Malice in the Palace.
I was actually watching that game, and I was like, shit, I wish Scott Foster was calling this.
Yeah, Scott Foster called game one, and you know what? I wasn't watching game one being like, what's going on with the reffing here?
Yeah, I wasn't talking about it.
No. I think Tony Brothers has surpassed Scott Foster as the worst ref in the NBA. Tony Brothers is, every time I see Tony Brothers on a game, I think, well, better plan on going to bed late tonight. So anyways, that's all my losers. I have like one half winner left, but I want to let you rattle some off.
Yeah, I have a winner left. I got to throw out. Fuck them picks, Adam. Mikal Bridges.
Yeah.
I love that, man. I love that,
41 minutes. Game high, 41 minutes for Mikal Bridges. Couldn't miss. I mean, like, there are some games where Mikal Bridges goes 0 for 1 from 3, and Tobias Harris is the rest of the game where he just disappears into the background. This game, he went 4 for 6 from 3 and was the featured star of the game.
Yeah. And every time that man pulls up for a mid-range jumper, it's beautiful.
Someone needs to make an edit of him pulling up for mid-range jumpers and just superimpose it through all of the different jerseys he's worn throughout his career. Like Phoenix, Brooklyn, and New York. I don't think he's been on any other teams. I think it's those three. But just have it cross-cut between all those because he has been pulling up for that same mid-range jumper for all 6-7 years that he's been in the NBA at this point.
Yeah, at one point I thought like put short shorts on that man, and he definitely could fit in like 70s 80s basketball.
What's the semi-pro team?
He could definitely play for the Flint, Michigan Tropics.
There you go.
Him and Coffee Black would tear it up. Yeah, I just think when Bridges, like, this is what we wanted from him. Well, I mean, 20 points may even be a little higher than we expected. We probably wanted just like a consistent 18 a night. Throughout the regular season, it was tough to get that. But he's having a really good playoff. And because he's such like a well-rounded player, how long is a basketball court? What's the 200 hockey foot player version, but for basketball?
Yeah, what is it? Like, I'm going to go with 96 feet.
He's such a 96-foot basketball player. Well, that just sounds like you're saying the basketball player is 96 feet tall.
So, but if it's 200 feet, that wouldn't sound like that.
No, that'd be ridiculous. That'd be ridiculous. But he's playing his game like an all-around strong game right now. And a championship win here officially ends the conversation. The trade was a win.
That trade's a win. The Julius Randle trade was a win. The Jalen Brunson contract was a win. The OG trade was a win. Yeah.
I think
the Jose Alvarado trade was a win. Everyone's questioning that one.
Deuce. Yeah. I think it's just Deuce and Mitchell Robinson who were actually drafted by this team.
Yeah, because Josh Hart was a free agent. Jalen Brunson was a free agent. Bridges, Towns, and Anunoby were all trades. Shamet was a free agent. Alvarado was a trade. Sohan was a trade. Ariel Huck-Porty, brother?
Yeah, I think Huck-Porty may have been. But at least when you look at guys who actually see the court, most games, it's basically just McBride and Robinson, both dudes who come off the bench in our rotation. Our entire starting lineup which I think is kind of, and I'm going off on a tangent, so we can move on after this. I think it's just kind of indicative of like the NBA is probably the one league where you don't have to put as much emphasis on building through the draft. It can work if you do it, but you can definitely go their direction and it works.
I think that typically it doesn't. I think every once in a while, like the 2013 Heat or the Knicks this year, it does. But you look at like
COVID
the
Lakers.
last a lot, the COVID Lakers. A lot of the last teams that have won, they've been buoyed by homegrown talent. Denver, Milwaukee, Boston, Golden State. Like typically, it's not. You bought this team. What?
Poking holes in my theory. I don't like that. You're poking valid holes right now, and I appreciate that.
But that makes it even more fun what the Knicks are doing, man. They're an outlier. And they also, despite the fact, well, actually, maybe part of it is because of that. It feels like a New York DNA team. Maybe that has something to do, with all the transplants that came there.
Yeah.
But the team feels very New York. My last winner, driving kick.
Speak on it, Adam. Speak on it.
The best sequence of the game is the one where every player on the Knicks touched the ball. They drove and kick. Five pass outs with Wemby in the center before Bridges, who had previously drove and kick, goes baseline across into the weak side corner, catches a pass, and knocks down a three after so many driving kicks. It was crazy. It was like a drill. Like they were running the drive and kick drill. Like the drill was you have to drive into the paint and then pass it to the open man. It's like something you would do in 2K to learn how to pass better. And it ends with three. Ends with a shot clock beating 3-pointer, by the way.
Oh yeah. I think there's at least 2 times during that. And I can get a little bit like old man yells at clouds when it comes to my basketball takes, as is pretty evident. Because I constantly shit on like stretch bigs, but even though I have a very good one on my team,
the one that's going to win Finals MVP.
Yeah. So there was at least 2 drives there where I thought the dude could have easily just like went to the basket, and I was just like kicking my foot through my television, and then all I heard was Breen go, "Bridges for 3." It just got ridiculous.
All right, Mike. Any last notes here?
Just a question: do you like? No, you probably don't. I was going to say, do you have Hart coming off the bench? But it's basketball. It doesn't matter who's in the starting 5, really. Like, Hart started the game. 5, yeah. Shamet played 30 to Hart's 18. It don't matter.
I also I wouldn't kick hard out of the starting lineup. I think that he's kind of got the Draymond thing going right now, where even if his stat line looks like shit, he's doing stuff.
Heart and soul of the team.
Yeah, they should
No
call
pun
him
intended.
that. They should call him Josh Soul. Mike, you got any plugs?
Are we doing pre-actions?
I thought we were doing that in short.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna do it after we finish this.
Yeah, you want to do it on the podcast though? We can do it on the podcast if you want. You want to do it on the podcast?
I figure you put it on the pod and then also kick out the short.
Yeah, we can do that. Let's do
right.
let's do predictions and pre-actions for Game 3, Monday night, 2 days off. Mike, you want to say your piece with that real quick?
You got to have 2 days off. Taking that private jet back to New York from San Antonio, probably like, what, a 5-hour flight, maybe 4. It's just tough.
Yeah, probably something like that. But Mike, we're going to do predictions and pre-actions for Game 3, the first finals game in Madison Square Garden since 1999. Currently, the New York Knicks are 2.5-point favorites, although that line might move down because currently San Antonio Spurs plus 2.5 is paying out at minus 115. Knicks minus 132 money line over-under is set at 216.5 points, which neither of these games have gone over yet, so that's interesting. The Ghosts. Mike, what is your prediction and your oddly specific prediction for? Oh wait, we're doing pre-actions. I was doing the OSPs. We're doing pre-actions. What is your?
So we're not doing OSP?
I don't know. We're doing. Which one do you want to do? Those are the two options. We can either do oddly specific predictions or we can do pre-actions.
I feel like oddly specific predictions is more of our brand, isn't it?
It's more of our brand. That's true. Although the pre-actions thing has been a stalwart for the playoffs, but I think it's time to retire it. I think we move back to what made us, Mike. The oddly specific predictions. So give me your final score prediction and your oddly specific prediction for Game 3.
Knicks win 120-105.
Damn, crushing the over-under.
Yep. And oddly specific prediction. Probably should have thought of this more.
Especially because you're the one that argued for it.
Yeah, oddly specific prediction is Brunson has a nuclear bounce-back game and puts up a 30-10 points and assists.
It's not that oddly specific. I gotta be honest with you, Mike. I'm a little disappointed in you. It was
really?
just very. It was a little general. You know, the thing about the oddly specific
numbers on it. I said 30-10.
Is the oddly part. It has to be oddly specific. You know.
Sorry. Do you want another one?
No, you've already blown your wad. It's too late. Yeah, you just sit there and clean up while I do my thing. Mike, I'm going to go 105-99 New York Knicks. The numbers don't lie, and they say the Knicks score 105 points. My oddly specific prediction is the Devin Vassell in 14 minutes goes 0 for 4 from 3 with 8 rebounds.
0 for 4 for 8 rebounds, all right.
See, that is oddly specific. Now, Mike, do you have any plugs?
No. I wasn't ready for this podcast.
So you don't have plugs?
I got nothing.
I texted you about this like 11 hours ago.
I do have one important
At
plug.
3 a.m.
One very important plug.
What's that?
You know what that is?
I'm sure it's going to be on your screen. No, what is
Knicks
it? There you go. Yeah, this is the second half of the podcast. First half was me and Tyler Carcara. I will leave Tyler's plugs in for that segment, and then we'll go to this instead of the... Tyler and I previewed Game 2. I'm going to cut that out and just replace it with this because Game 2 already happened. But you can follow us at all the socials in the show notes below. If you're listening to us in an audio format, please follow us on Spotify, as we greatly appreciate it when Spotify doesn't yell at me about our follower count. If you want to see what we look like and see all the things Mike had on his screen earlier, including the new logo, that was a crazy face. The new logo, be sure to check us out on YouTube at Talent Alone Podcast. Typically, we stream twice a week. However, it's been all fucked up by the Stanley Cup final. So, no streams this week. We'll be back at it next week, assuming that the Knicks can close this shit out and we don't have to worry about balancing all of the different sports at once. But if you do want to see us stream, we stream at Talent Alone Stream on YouTube, which is also
tomorrow, right?
What's up?
Tomorrow, right? Oh, no.
I just said we're not streaming because Stanley Cup final. Oh, wait, Stanley Cup final's tonight. Yeah, we can stream tomorrow. Fuck it. With that, Mike, since we don't do shout-outs on this podcast, would you care to guess who the all-time leading scorer in an NBA final game is for the New York Knicks?
In a single game?
Yes.
Someone weird. I was gonna go like chalk. I'll say like Walt Clyde Frazier. That's definitely not the answer, but it's probably from that '99 team, right?
It is not from the '99 team. It is from the 1970 team. Mike, I'll give you one more guess.
Earl the Pearl.
Willis Reed, 38 points.
My next guess.
Yeah, I mean those would be the three. The top one from the '99 team was Latrell Sprewell, and the top from the 2026 team is Jalen Brunson's 30-point game one. And with that, Mike, let's get out of here.
Doinks, Shaggy.